Hi, everybody. In this video, I'm going to talk about three things that have come to my awareness related to human growth and potential. Uh, these things have come to me just by reading and watching different videos, and I fully agree with them because it really has been my experience that there are these three areas in which we like to grow as human beings. So those areas are relationships, wealth, and health. They're just three sort of problematic areas where we like to grow as human beings. And even if we don't think that we would like to grow in those areas, they cause issues in our daily life. For example, if I have bad relationships, then I have bad relationships and it's awful. I don't have anyone to connect to and all of that kind of stuff. And with wealth, you can think of the opposite, really, right? You can think of the opposite. For example, poverty. Like in poverty, it's hard to pay bills, there's suffering, you could be homeless, you won't be able to get groceries, all of that kind of stuff. So that's another area that people like to grow in, even though some people think that, oh, maybe I just want a little bit. It's possible, but I think wealth is also very important. The other area is health. Think about it, having bad health. One is always sick, they're always in the hospital, they don't feel good every day. So that's just an area that people like to grow in as well. So I was reflecting on this and I was thinking of my own personal experience, and I have had the opportunity to work on all three. And there are two areas that I am better in than another, and the one I am actively growing in right now. So I have had the opportunity to work on relationships, and I continue to work on relationships to this day. However, my relationships are so much better than they used to be. For, I would say, about 7.5 years, I have been fortunate enough that at some point in my life, I hit a bottom and I was able to then get this opportunity to really work on Mamelo and become a better person and mend relationships that really I personally had done damage in. So I'm really, really, really grateful for that opportunity. One of the things that I was thinking about, though, was the relationship that I have with my husband. So these are moments of grace, right? Like me and my husband had been friends for about 8 to 10 years or so. We'd always just been around each other. Actually, I played soccer in college. He played soccer as well. We got out of college and was playing in like a rec league here. And we met that way. And my husband's just really, really a nice guy. And at the time in my 20s, I was like, nice guys. Nah, not so much, right? So I wanted the guys that were going to challenge me and just be rough and tough and whatever, right? So anyway, so so for a while we didn't get together. But there was a period of time where I remember, in fact, it was about when I was about 25 years old, that I started to really want to find somebody that I could spend the rest of my life with and build with. And I'd had a couple of experiences where relationships were heading in that direction, but they didn't go there. But I had a taste of what it felt like to be in a stable relationship. And I actually really liked it, which was surprising for me, actually. So, so what happened was, we had a moment where it became clear that him and I should be together. And the reason it was unclear was because we were just so different. He is completely different in the way that he approaches life than the way that I approach life. I'll go around and he'll go in a straight line or something like that, right? But I wanted to say it the other way around, but no, it's true. I always think my way is right and he thinks his way is right. So we're just different in the way that we approach life. It just became clear that him and I were meant to be together. We had several moments that we shared. We've always been very, very comfortable with each other. And when we started dating, within 4 months, I knew this was going to be my husband. So we had this moment of clarity. We ended up getting married in about 18 months. We got engaged in 6. We were engaged for about 18 months and got married. And then, of course, I realized that there's a lot of work here that needs to be done. And we made it through some turbulent times, but then got on the other side. And what happened was I got an opportunity to work on myself while still being in this relationship. And really, it's like, how do I become the person that I want to sort of return the same energy back to, right? So I had to become a more kind person. I had to become a more, like, I wasn't a bad person, but my actions did not show that I was these things. So I had to become loving, had to become more tolerant. I had to listen when he was talking instead of, being busy. It's still something I work on today. It's just having the awareness that I have to become the person that I want to attract. And so him and I have had an opportunity to just continue to work on our relationship individually and together. And it's absolutely beautiful. And it's not just that relationship, it's other relationships as well, my friendships, right? I now have friends in my life that really are the kinds of friends that I have really prayed for my entire life. And I've had friends like that too in my life. It's just now I really am aware and I can be that friend to those people as well. Whereas in the past, I think I was, sort of, yeah, no, it's real. Like I think I took more than I gave. And so I really am so happy that now I can be that person. And so it really is like a back and forth and a relationship like that. So, right, this topic is obviously kind of personal, but I've been getting this message that I need to talk about this for a while. Cool. So that's relationships. People always talk about when you want to attract something, you have to become that thing. And now I am working on wealth. And this is controversial, but it's true. I'm working on it. Growing up, I had moments of being sort of upper middle class, lower middle class. And my mom and I have gotten robbed. Our house has gotten robbed 3 times when I was still living in Lesotho. And when that happened, it put us at the bottom of the pile. We had to start over again. And one of the times, everything was gone. I'm talking everything. I mean, the house was clean. No forks, knives, or spoons, nothing. It was gone. And so we had to really start from the beginning. So I had these moments in life of like ups and downs, and I don't want that ever again. I don't want that ever again. I want freedom related to wealth. I never want to be worrying about where the next meal is going to come from. I want my kids to be able to live like that as well. I mean, these are just some goals that I have for myself. So I want to be able to help people around me without even thinking about it. Whenever it comes to situations like that, I want to be able to help my family in the long run, my extended family in the long run. I want to be able to help my friends. I want to be able to help people that need it, like all of that kind of stuff. And without it, it makes it more difficult for me to be able to do that because I'm so worried about just the myself and my family, my close family, and trying to make sure that they're okay. So this is just an area of my life that's very important. And so what have I done? I have begun to invest in making sure that I have now created circles of friends that have exactly what I'm looking for. Right. And so how does that happen? Well, I paid for mentorship, and I have an opportunity to be around certain mentors, like my trading mentors, who I absolutely adore that have allowed me to, get close to them and have taught me so much as it relates to just my mindset related to wealth. And in trading, trading is actually something that teaches me a lot about myself and the way that I think about money and the fears that are related to money. And I can tell when I'm in a flow, I can tell when I'm in fear. There's principles that need to be practiced when trading. It just is just a window. It's a beautiful window that helps me to really see myself as it relates to money. And I have an opportunity to just continue to do that work through trading and reflection. And so that's an amazing thing. They continue to tell me, oh, you have to become a trader. So I'm really understanding what that means. There's a shift that needs to happen. It's all really in my mind. And I can do affirmations, which I do. I do affirmations, I journal, I reflect, I read about traders, I study traders that are really good. I listen to what they call trading psychology books. And I learn about what it takes to actually become a good trader. And I have a couple of businesses. And so these people have taught me about ways in which I could make business better. What do wealthy people do? I study what wealthy people do so that I can do the things that wealthy people do so that I can become that. Okay. And so that's just something that's very, very important to me, to study what wealthy people do, whether it is reading certain books, and definitely making sure that somehow I put myself in environments where there are wealthy people. Sometimes I go to neighborhoods and just sit in the neighborhoods that I want to be in so that I can feel that energy, so I can be around that energy, so I can put in my mind what it is that I want to have. There is a certain type of house that I want to have, and I visit places like that so I can look and see what I'm looking for. And so every day, I just am highly aware of the things that I do on a daily basis that help me to align myself with where I want to be. What do wealthy people do? Okay, let me look at what wealthy people do and let me on a daily basis make sure that I am doing the things that wealthy people do. So that's why. And I'm really, really happy about that because it helps me to also then understand health. So health is something that I have been working on my entire life. And I didn't necessarily do it consciously at first. I kind of did it without really realizing and being very, very intentional about it. My whole life, I've been an athlete. So that really helped me along the way. I'm hearing now that athletes are having issues with like high blood pressure. I'm like, whoa, like really? I just don't remember that growing up. And that again helps me to really understand how much food really contributes to overall health. So I digress. I've been an athlete my entire life. And so that is the thing that kind of has helped me to have this identity of I am a healthy person. So athletics has always kept me kind of on a straight path until I wasn't on a straight path at some point in my life as well. But it really helped me throughout my life to stay focused. I've always identified as an athlete. And so that helped me to do the things that athletes do. Okay. So there was definitely a point in my life where I struggled with it. However, for the most part, my entire life, I did the things that athletes do. And so I've always tried to keep a certain look. I exercise. I haven't always eaten well, but I have been able to keep that identity. And today I still have that identity. I continue to call myself an athlete. That was one piece. At some point, I actually gained weight when I got to the United States from Lesotho. I was in South Africa at the time for about 2 years before I came. But when I got here, the food, right? Like it was McDonald's all the time, Hot Pockets. I mean, I couldn't believe the cost of candy, to be honest, because just the conversion of from the rand to the dollar, 25 cents for a bag of chips. Are you kidding me? What? So, so I would do that. So at some point I gained weight, and I remember sophomore year gaining a lot of weight. And there's a picture, I wish I could find it. There's a picture that I remember clearly of me being, shoot, I was a pretty decent size. And you could tell that I was. And I was chubby in the face, and I was kind of wearing baggy clothes at that time because I went through many phases. I was a B girl at this time. And so I remember gaining all that weight. Then I decided, all right, cool, I'm going to change my diet. And really, I didn't really change my diet. I just ate less. So I ate less of the things that I was eating. So I was still eating a few fries here and there or whatever. But then, many of you all know my story. When my mother got diagnosed with ovarian cancer, I began to really, really research food because there was just something always there, and discovered that meat, animal products, milk and dairy, right, eggs, cheese, all of that kind of stuff, a lot of it causes chronic diseases, and the consumption of a ton of it. And so here in the United States, there is really an abundance of it, and there's way more than we need. So, even because you think about it, even fast food is really inexpensive. So you can literally go to McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you have meat in every single one of your meals. And so I began to discover that really, really the animal foods that we eat are the source of most chronic disease, animal products and processed foods, to be honest, and both. Then, so I began to look at the inverse, like, well, how do I get better? So, you can stop eating those things, but like, what am I supposed to eat? And I found that a whole foods, plant-based diet, which is organic, is really the best way to go. And people that eat this kind of food all the time, a majority of the time, really live healthy lives. And so I began to do that. I began to just slowly over time. I didn't have any chronic diseases, but I didn't want to get any chronic diseases. So just over time, and I began to change my diet towards this whole foods, plant-based diet that is organic. And so then, I have a family now, and, we eat a majority of that. Do we go out sometimes? Absolutely. On the weekends we do. But I was doing the calculation the other day. So I would say for me, about 85 to 90% of my diet is pretty good, because Monday through Friday, I'm doing my thing and I'm cooking at home. And in the morning and in the afternoon, I eat smoothies and salads, really. And just in the evening, then I'll create a meal for the whole family. So that being said, a majority of the time, and it's plant-based, a majority of the time I'm eating well. And so what does it take to be a healthy person? So these are the things to ask oneself as one is going through their journey. What are the things that healthy people do? And do those things. If you don't have access to the information, pay for the information. If you don't have access to people that are being healthy, pay to be in groups of circles where people are being healthy. If you because it's just gonna help you to change the way you think. It's going to help you to see things differently. It's going to motivate you. It's going to prevent you from going in the other direction all the time. It's just going to change the way that you look at health and the way that you look at your body and things like that. So that is important. And I'm not just saying this, I've done it myself, right? Like just as I mentioned in the wealth area, I am doing the same things. So pay for it. To read things that healthy people do, okay? Three, start doing the things that healthy people do. What am I doing on a daily basis that lets me know that I am now a healthy person? Cool. I'm going to say that affirmation. I am a healthy person. Cool. Now what? I am going to wake up every day. I'm going to exercise. Okay. Every single day, I am going to eat a smoothie. Every single day, the meals that I eat are going to align with the person that I am becoming. Okay. And every single day, I'm going to monitor my sleep. Every single day, I'm going to check and see, wait, what are my stress levels? What can I do to eliminate stress in my life? Because stress is a huge part of the reasons people are struggling, you know, and really, 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 this is just another area in life that's really, really important to focus on, stress, because if you're really stressed out, you're not going to be very healthy. Okay, so look at those things, write them down, figure out what you're doing now, and really write it down, talk about the things that you're doing now. And then on another side, write the things that are the opposite of that, that you know you need to do, and then do them. Study the people that are healthy. What are they doing? What are they doing? And how can you begin to shift your life to become that? So it's really, really important to uh, think about what we want in our lives and then work on becoming that person. And there is so much beauty in that process. I truly believe that we are here on earth to just work on becoming the people that God intended us to be. And it's hard sometimes, man, but let me tell you, it is so worth it. It is so worth it. I believe that our souls want that. I believe that finally in my life, I'm finally becoming the person that God wants me to be. It's like I made a 180 turn, and it's like I can feel how happy and peaceful my soul is becoming. And it's like, yep, yep, yep. Keep going, right? Because before it was, what's that when people talk about like hot and cold? So I'm warm to hot now, right? Like it's like, oh yeah, you're getting warm now, you know? And so one can feel that. I know y'all can feel it because we know when something's not right. Something's not right. But we just keep banging up against that wall instead of just making the turn, surrendering to the process, and really putting our effort into what it is that we are trying to be, or what it is that our soul is telling us needs to happen. Okay. And what happens is that when we don't do that, we just begin to have consequences. You know, I talked about how I was beginning to ruin my relationships. I talked about how at some point I had put on a bunch of weight. I had chubby cheeks and all of this. And then just, you know, witnessing like, you know, what was going on with my mom at the time. And so you know, that's something that I was able to just see. It wasn't necessarily a consequence, but it was something that I was able to see. And then when it comes to, you know, wealth, I've experienced the opposite of not being wealthy, and I don't want that. And so it's just very, very important to um, be aware, not to go through life with our eyes closed like zombies, but to really be aware about um, and of the things that we are doing on a daily basis that contribute to our overall well-being. Okay, so I hope this video blessed you guys, and I will see you on the next one.